My name is Kafui Dey. You are welcome to the next MP. Glad you could join us. My guest is a lawyer and the Chief Executive of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEIP, and a freshly minted parliamentary candidate for the new Patriotic Party representing the people of Ejisu in the Ashanti region. So John Kuma, you're welcome to the next MP.
Thank you, Kafui.
Good to have you here.
Good to have you too.
When did you nurse the ambition of representing a constituency as important as Ejisu, which used to be Ejisu Drabin?
Yes.
And it's the home of one of the icons of Ghanaian history, Yasantua.
Yes.
Yes. When did you nurse this hope?
Well, I think I started active politics in Ejisu when I finished my first degree in 2003. But I contested a seat for the first time in 2014, and I didn't win. So this was my second time, and this time the grace was sufficient for me, and I managed to win it.
Okay. We'll talk about the person you went up against, because it was a second time lucky for you.
Yes.
And he has a lot of experience in Parliament, and you've kicked him off the seat. But before that, why do you want to be the MP for Ejisu?
Well, I've always wanted to be part of my community decision making, and my mother comes from Ejisu, so I thought that it would be a very good place to grow my career as a politician. So I identified Ejisu right after my first degree, and have been part of their programs and activities and part of the community. Of course, I've always seen myself as a politician, even when I was on campus. So I thought that I needed to have an identified constituency where I would grow that political career. And it happened to be my mother's constituency. So I said, let me, pitch camp in Ejisu and grow from there. So I have been with them for quite some time, about 17 years of consistency with the people of Ejisu.
And a 17-year journey culminated in a victory for you. You had 397 of the votes. Your incumbent had 305 votes. And he's a very experienced person, a three-term MP, Mr. Kwabena Owusu Adromi, also Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways. What did it for you?
I think I beat him this time because when I lost the last time, I kept a good relationship with the grassroots, and I participated fully in all the activities I needed. The first time I didn't win because I thought they didn't know me much. I was then fresh from law school and had not been very regular in activities of Ejisu. So I thought that I needed more time to relate closely with the constituents so that they will be able to understand my programs and vision better. I think I presented a more precise program or activities that I thought brought much more hope and clarity of vision as compared to what the MP was doing. In terms of, I spoke a lot about job creation for young people and what I could do differently to engage the youth in Ejisu. I spoke about how we can add speed to the development agenda of Ejisu. I mean, Wankra Inland Port, we happen to have the Wankra Inland Port in Ejisu, and for the past 12 years, not much has been done to operationalize the port so that the youth in that area could find jobs. So I made it one of my campaign messages that if I was elected, I was going to push for Wankra Inland Port to be operationalized, and I'm going to work hard on that one. And I also spoke about our heritage, which is Kente. Bonyere is in the Ejisu constituency. And I thought we are not leveraging that product enough to bring attention and job creation on Kente in the constituency. Last year we had the year of return with over 1 million people visiting Ghana. And the focus was all on the slave trade and the slave dungeon and gates of no return at the various Elmina and Kekos castles. And there was no strategic program to send them to Bonyere from their visit to get original Kente before they return to their various countries. So I thought that we could do better in terms of our tourism potential in Ejiso. And I presented all these various alternatives to them, and I thought that is what did the magic. That they thought I had a more cogent program that could change the place better in the next 4 years. And I'm sure it's the reason why they voted for me.
A couple of days after the MPP primaries, Parliament was like a ghost town on the majority side.
Yeah.
Out of the 41 MPs who lost their seats and who will not have the honor of representing the NPP, only 5 turned up in Parliament. The Speaker was very worried about the developments. You are responsible for this, casting this this gloom over the majority side. How do you feel?
Well, I thought that, first of all, it was natural for them to be disappointed. That if you go into an election and you lose, you naturally feel disappointed. But that is not a good excuse to refuse to carry out your own responsibility. You are still the MP until 7th of January 2021.
But put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
Somebody who, for example, your opponent, the incumbent, this was his 3rd term.
Yes.
And you knocked him out, and he goes away with all that, what a lot of people say would be rich experience. These are, and so many MPs in the House who are also deputy ministers or ministers sitting on serious committees in Parliament have lost opportunity to serve the party in 2020. And a lot of people have argued that this is almost like a decapitation, and so much experience gone in the blink of an eye because of the ambition of young people like that. Naked ambition.
Well, first of all, I don't agree with them because remember they also came to remove other people. My MP, for instance, he came to remove the then Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Kafui Dey, who had also done 3 terms and was serving as the Minister for Foreign Affairs. He came to remove him, and life went on. And today we are talking about his experience. If he didn't have the opportunity to, remove a foreign minister, he wouldn't have the experience we are talking about today.
So how do you feel taking out a deputy minister for roads and highways?
Well, I feel it's time to also bring on board my wealth of experience and also make a contribution to our national development. Nobody is indispensable. Nature will always fill a vacuum, and I think they have played their parts. They've done their roles well, and it is time for new ideas to come on board. And what people call experience, it's just a matter of time. You get to have to understand the standing orders. The rest is all your own ideas and how you manage your constituency.
And looking at the trend with the Ejisu, formerly called Ejisu Dwaben, it seems that the NPP members of Parliament seem to get 3 terms.
Yes.
3 terms.
Wait.
Your predecessor and the one before him, 3 terms. So you're looking at 12 years for Mr. John Kuma?
Well, hopefully, if I do my work well. And you see, I think it's good for the constituency anyway, because 3 terms is enough for you to be able to execute your programs. And then you should be able to convince them why they should extend it for you. In some of the constituencies, they do it every 4 years. They change and bring new candidates. But at least it just so has some history of stability that at least if you perform, they allow you to have about 3 terms to also show them what you can offer. And
what do you feel about those who say the MP was not protected? You have quite a few MPs who were made to go unopposed.
I don't believe in that protection theory for any MP. Nobody is indispensable. And as long as we have chosen the path of democracy, we should allow people with ideas to compete. If we don't remove you, how do we see the potential of the person coming? And as for experience, it's a matter of time. Everybody will learn. Even the president, no matter how massive he performs, he's allowed only 2 terms. And a new person is supposed to come and carry on with another vision. So what is unique about protecting a member of parliament who has served 3 terms? And, some people are there for 6 terms, 7 terms. What at all that they have not given, that other people should not be given the opportunity? So I don't believe in this protectionist idea. Let people go back and engage those who gave them the mandate. Let them have the opportunity to either renew their mandate or be kicked out of the place.
Let's look at some of the. I was looking at the Facebook page of your predecessor. On June 16th, he posted a very interesting flyer which showed his achievements. You know, he had given 7,000 pieces of roofing sheets, 10,000 cement bags, and then there were so many ongoing projects. So there was a toilet facility at Abenasi, at Besiasi, at Adedentem, at Buankra. These are all ongoing. He had donated so many street bulbs, 100 mats to the Jesus Zongo, 38,000 CDs to the Bonre Kente Festival, ongoing Deba grounds construction, ongoing road constructions at so many places. What happens with all these projects?
Well, first of all,
are you going to leave them just abandoned?
No. It wasn't his personal pocket money. Every project that he initiated will be completed as long as I take over from him. As soon
It's
as
easy for you to say. You can say this now.
Yes, but I don't have a choice than to complete all his initiated programs. I mean, the NDC, when MPP took over from NDC in 2017, we carried out all their programs, including the Kotoka International Airport Terminal 3. We completed the KGTR project.
Yeah, completed. If you hadn't completed those projects, you'd have been in trouble. You'd have paid some good money.
Is the same
judgment
thing.
Debt money to some foreign company.
Is the same thing, and even worse if I don't complete these initiated programs in my constituency. That one, I will suffer for it during the next vote. So I have to make sure all these programs are carried out. It is to the benefit of the community.
So we can come back to you on in 4 years' time.
Yes.
With this same list of all these roads and ongoing projects.
Yeah. These are, I mean, we are in a year of roads, and remember, it's not his personal pocket money. This is a government agenda. So all I need to do is to be in touch with the road authorities, make sure every contractor who has been awarded a road project carries out their work and do it properly. If they don't do it, gets terminated and re-awarded. So I am going to be a force behind it and make sure. And I mean, I can tell you that even though I was not a member of parliament, I was also doing a lot for the communities.
Yes, and talking of that, I think I even have a list, not as grand as his.
Obviously, 12 years is a more...
But you donated PPEs, 10,000 CDs, 2,000 sanitizers, 10 boxes of gloves, toilet rolls, 10 Veronica buckets. You remember all this, right?
Yeah, and I did a community assessment for my constituency, and the number one problem was toilets, community public toilets. And I was able, through the private sector, to put about 30 public toilets in 30 communities, which are all in different stages of completion. So that alone gave me a lot of presence in the community.
He also listed toilets. Are they the same toilets that you are all listing?
No, so in Abenasi, for instance, we have his toilet and we have my toilet, and the community being...
When you say his toilet, what is his picture on it?
Well, it's not his picture, but he funded with the community support. Okay. And I also brought the private people to put up a 16-seater toilet at Abenasi. We have a 30-seater at Achremadi in Ejuso. So, and about 30 of them in the various communities. So, I mean, you don't even necessarily have to be a member of parliament before you can help bring projects into the communities. And so, even if he's not the MP and he also wants to help this Bonyere Kente Festival, we all donated towards that cause. And we are going to help promote Bonyere Kente and, bring a lot of attention, all with the objective of creating jobs and bringing more tourism to Bonyere in the Juso constituency.
How did you prosecute this campaign? Knowing that we were in a period where movements were very limited.
Yeah.
How did you go about it?
It was very scary.
Did you flout the lockdown rules? Because there was an allegation that you actually defied lockdown rules to go and do your campaign.
No. You see, there was a point where there was a lockdown, and I particularly was receiving a lot of calls from the constituents about how they were going to cope in the next 2-3 weeks that there was going to be lockdown. So we didn't have a choice than to go there and give out PPEs, the ones you are referring to. We needed to go and make donations. We needed to engage the people with some of the COVID materials, COVID-19 PPE, so that they could cope, hand sanitizers. And of course, because there was also an era of campaign, my opponent picked it up as an opportunity to, do bad publicity for me because I was helping the community. Eventually worked against him, because the people saw that I was not flouting the COVID rules, but I was rather helping them to cope with the reality of the situation.
All right.
But it was a very dangerous period to campaign. So we adopted more of telephone calls, one-on-one kind of campaigning where you call the person on phone.
Social distancing.
Social distancing. Exactly. Okay. So we never left them alone. I had to do a lot of regular calling to engage with them one-on-one and to sell the message.
Lots of phone credits going through. That's all for that cost. You're watching the next MP. My guest is the MPP parliamentary candidate for the good people of Ejisu and the CEO of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, which we will talk about after this.
As the national regulator of the communications industry in Ghana, the National Communications Authority seeks to ensure an environment that is safe and fair for consumers and service providers. NCA grants licenses and authorizations for operation of communication systems and services, develops guidelines to streamline communication activities, establish and monitor quality of service indicators for operators and service providers. NCA is in 8 regions: Accra, Tamale, Takoradi, Kumasi, Ho, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga. Do you have unresolved complaints with your service providers? Contact us on 0800110662, 0307011419 between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. from Monday to Friday, or visit our website at www.nca.org.gh and follow the procedure for filing a complaint or submitting enquiry. National Communications Authority, Communications for Development.
You're watching the next MP. My name is Kafui Dey. My guest wants to be the next MP for the good people of Ejisu in the Ashanti region. His name is John Kuma, and he's a lawyer and a chief executive officer of the NEIP, which stands for the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, which used to be called YES.
Yeah.
Youth Enterprise Support. Is this the normal craze of when a new party comes in, that they rename what the former party had? Because YES was under the NDC.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well,
why did you say no to YES?
We needed to change the YES program because it wasn't addressing the needs of the youth in the scope that it was required to do.
It wasn't training enough people?
No.
Because I found out recently you were on Loyal Ladies TV.
Yeah.
And you claimed that only 66 people
yes.
got loans.
Not claiming, they are handing over notes. So this is their own handing.
66?
Yes.
And
after they
103
trained,
people were
103,
trained?
yes.
Over a period of?
Over a period of, since they established the YES program. This is in their own handing over.
What did you
notes.
think accounted for that?
Well, maybe they were not resourced enough. That's in. Sometimes they can set up the agency with no funding.
Was it not under the Office of the President as NEIP is?
Yes, at the time it was. And they had 10 million cedis as their setup fund. But of course, the NEIP has $100 million.
So more money?
For more money. And then also they restricted the scope of support to the youth in terms of age, that you have to be maximum, I think, 40 years, 35, 40 years before you could be assisted. But we changed that, removed the restrictive age to a national program. Now more powered to reach out to more people. So we are focused on innovation and ideas rather than your age. You can be 60 if you have brilliant ideas. We believe that once we resource you, you are going to engage the young people to work for you. So
if my 10-year-old asks you, Uncle John, what do you do at NEIP? What does NEIP do? What would you tell him?
NEIP empowers young people to become their own bosses, become your own CEO, create your own business idea, receive government funding and training, and become your own boss. Basically, that's what NEIP does.
And the criticism I hear from some people is that, listen, if you don't have a card with an elephant and blue, white, and red on it, forget it. You won't get this opportunity. How do you respond to such criticisms or allegations or claims?
Okay, so first of all, it's unfounded. In the past 3 windows that we have done. The first window, we received 7,000 applications across the country. All the 7,000, irrespective of your background, your career, or where you come from, we give you the opportunity to go through training. Last year, we did 12,000. We received 12,000 applications. We allowed everybody to go for training. This year, we are doing 26,000. In all the 260 districts in Ghana across the country, we are training 100 applicants across all the 260.
But what is the guarantee? This sounds great. I mean, the numbers are fantastic.
Yes,
but what is the guarantee that foot soldiers and serial callers are not being
They are also entitled
to come?
They should be encouraged. We are encouraging anybody with any ideas to come up. It is at the training center where consultants and entrepreneurs with the acumen of business selection, after they've given the training, they are required to do the selection, not government. It is these consultants who do the training that do the selection and recommend to government. In the past 2 years that we have done the 19,000, we have funded 4,350. They have received from 10,000 cedis to 100,000 Ghana cedis, depending on your field, depending on your capacity to repay, depending on your readiness and how much you need.
Where does the money come from?
It comes from government funding sources and our development partners. But of course, everything is through budget and private sector arrangements. So this is what we have done. It is, even if you are NDC or MPP or DPP or serial caller or what, we are not interested in that.
Do you declare your political affiliation?
You don't have to, because you have opportunity to go for the training. If you say you want to make this special ice water, there's already existing special ice. How is your water different from special ice? So they're going to take you through basic entrepreneurial training, your bookkeeping, your formalization of your business, how to scale up, sources of funding, access to market, all kinds of training. And sometimes even after the training, they are not interested in the money again. Some of them get to have so much information about how they can scale up without borrowing that they don't even take the loans.
Is the money, so these are loans, right?
Yes,
so they have to pay back.
They have to pay back.
10% interest?
Yes, 10% interest per annum.
Per annum.
Yes, and 2 reasons why they have to pay back. We have to sustain the program, because when you give out the funding, it should be able to be recovered so that we can give out to new people. And then also, we are interested in the culture of repayment of loans in our young startups, because all over the world, nobody works serious businesses with their pocket monies alone. You need to borrow. So you must learn the culture of borrowing and repaying, of course, at a rate that is affordable at your startup formative stages, so that when you get used to it and you have to now go to commercial circles to borrow, it's nothing new for you.
Okay. You have a collaboration with the Youth Employment Agency.
Yes.
How different is what they do with what you do?
Totally different. The Youth Employment Agency is a temporary employment arrangement for young people, I think for a period of 3 years. And then after the 3 years, you need to move on. So that's where the NEIP comes in, to help you to have your own sustainable job creation opportunity. So we take them through various entrepreneurship training for those who are exiting the YEA program. This year we are trying to do 10,000 across the country. So we take you through your field of interest, and then we assist you to be able to create your own business plan on what you want to do based on the experience you have had in the past 3 years working under the YEA program. Then those who are able to stand out, they are going to receive funding support, working capital from the NEIP program, so that they can start their own businesses. And we believe that over time, so many startups can come out from that initiative and collaboration.
Good. So still with NEIP, this is now window 3.
Yes, window 3.
The first 2 windows were such that you had to apply
online. Yeah.
Didn't that restrict a lot of people who don't have access to the internet?
It did. That is why this time around, because of the feedback, we have decentralized to all the district assemblies in Ghana. So we are in Paga, we are in Tumu, we are in Sankore, we are in Accra, we are in Kumasi.
You're talking all 260?
All 260 districts in Ghana have the opportunity now.
NEIP,
NEIP
you're working
ongoing.
Are you working through the district, or
Yes.
you have an office within the district?
No, we are working through them. So you just have to go to your district and apply. You join the NEIP training, and that's it. Once you excel there, the business consultants and entrepreneurs who are training the mentors. They will select your business, recommend you to government to receive funding. And this year we are seeking to do about 5,000 businesses to receive funding.
Your outfit, the NEIP, National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, is situated within the office of the president. What does that mean? It means the president can pop in and say, "Hi, John, where are my jobs? Where are the people? What happens? Where is your office located?"
Okay, so our offices is at Cantonment, and we are an implementing agency of the Ministry of Business Development. And Ministry of Business Development is also under Office of President before. Now it is a ministry on its own. So we are no longer an office under the Office of President. Do you get it? In the sense that we work under the Ministry of Business Development. Because if you are under Office of President, it means you're under the Chief of Staff. So in terms of structure, we are now under the Ministry of Business Development. But of course, the Ministry of Business Development is also, was also under the Office of President. So that's why it was structured like that. But now that the Ministry of Business Development has become a fully fledged ministry, now we will say that we are under the Ministry of Business Development.
Okay. So commentators have been worried about the phenomenon where chief executives of state institutions also want to become MPs. And you are a great example of that. you had a full-time job as a chief executive officer, training Ghanaians to think like CEOs and run their own business, whether they want to create water or pens or whatever.
Yeah.
But then also you are eyeing parliament.
Yeah.
What was the impact of this decision on your work as the CEO of NEIP, which was what you were supposed to be focusing directly on?
Okay. So first of all, I would say it was a positive influence on my role, because that meant that I needed to deliver as a CEO for people to see that I could be trusted with a little, and so I can do much. So I would say that it gave me a positive. If you compare the numbers of what YES used to do, if in 8 years you trained 103 and supported 66.
Youth employment support.
Youth enterprise support under the NDC. They did 103 and funded 66 in 8 years.
With less money.
Well, what prevented them from giving them more money?
Well, we work with what we have. They got 10 million.
So that is it. But in a matter of 3 years, the NEIP has trained, if you add 19,000 to the 26,000 we are doing this year, that's over 40,000 in just 3 years. And we are funding almost about 10,000 of them with a minimum of 10,000 cedis and a maximum of 100,000 cedis. So anybody who looks at your performance believes that you can do better. First of all, I have contested the position of Member of Parliament before my appointment as the CEO. So I didn't become CEO and wanted to become an MP. So
you are going to complete unfinished business?
Exactly.
At the expense of NEIP?
Well, it is not going to be at the expense of NEIP.
Yeah, but there were times the end time you took away to do business, whether it's even taking a phone call from somebody who wants to be a delegate or wants to support you, it's time taken away from the NEIP.
Well, not necessarily. Like I said, my ambition rather became the motivation to do more for NEIP. And for me, it was a positive influence if you look at the results compared to what used to be and what we have done in the space and in terms of the resources available to us.
Why didn't you resign from the NEIP job to focus on the MP job?
Oh, I don't have to resign.
You
not by law or by... No, I don't have to resign. The law doesn't require me to resign.
Okay.
And it hasn't stopped me. Even though this year I was campaigning, I am training 26,000 beneficiaries across the country.
But and somebody else would say you took advantage of your position as CEO of NEIP to put yourself in a particular position where you could even promise people jobs and opportunities. You took advantage.
Yes, you should, because even MPs...
You're not shy of taking advantage of your job as
that's not illegal at all.
NEIP boss.
In fact, it's my mandate to help you find job. So I should be able to encourage you to find job.
But didn't that create an unfair advantage over somebody who wouldn't have these benefits?
No, I remember I contested a deputy minister for roles. So
he also took advantage of his job. Did he also take advantage? Well, he's not here, so I can
give roles to the people.
Oh, so but the roads are not his. The roads are not his.
Well, the jobs won't be mine. So
it's basically Mr. Kuma,
the jobs won't be mine.
You eat your cake and you can still have it. It's almost like magic.
No, the jobs won't be mine. The jobs people create are for them. Mine is to create the enabling environment and to resource and empower them to achieve their dreams. And for me, it's such a pleasurable resource to see that you make positive impact in lives of people. You make them believe that it is possible. And so many young people have bought into the idea of entrepreneurship and have now started their businesses. You know, my outfit and National Service also collaborated. So now we encourage students whilst they are in school, especially in their final year, to start their own businesses. So that during the 1-year National Service period where we post you to government agencies to go and work for only 1 year, we will post you to do your own business under the supervision of the NEIP program. So whilst you are receiving your National Service allowance for 1 year, you are working to build your own business throughout that period. And after that, you can source further funding from the NEIP program. So there are a number of interventions we have done that, for me, is helping to create more startups into the Ghanaian entrepreneurship ecosystem.
Did you lobby for the NEIP job?
Yes, I went for it.
You
lobbied
for it?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I thought that I could make a lot of difference. First of all, it was years when it was given to me, the Youth Enterprise Support. It didn't even have a budget in the year that it was given to me. It was virtually, you know, a very dormant agency. But by the grace of God, when I got it, I took the 2017 budget and read and saw that there was a program to be initiated by government called the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan at the time. It was PLAN. So I quickly engaged the Office of Chief of Staff. I engaged Dr. Awal, and then we engaged the president, and then we were able to fuse because the concept was almost the same as the Youth Enterprise Support. And that's how can we transformed that YES program into the NEIP program and became a flagship. And that's where we are today.
So somebody would look at you and say, well, this lawyer, great. He's now an MP parliamentary candidate for the MPP for Ejisu, who wants to win, become the next MP. But what's his entrepreneurship background?
I have been an entrepreneur all my life. Even when I was in fact, as soon as I finished secondary school, I opened an office in Kumasi. It was a construction firm. So whilst I was in university, I was also into construction.
What were you building?
I was building anything.
Like?
Houses, to schools, to gutters, anything that is buildable, I was involved.
Were you qualified?
Yes, I was qualified.
In terms of what?
In terms of my certification and engaging people who have the skill to do. So after university, when I finished my national service, I opened a branch in Accra, Wija Junction, where I had my construction firm. We were doing blocks and concrete pipes, and we were doing all kinds of anything. But obviously, I wanted to become a lawyer. So I was doing the construction to pay my school fees and do other things, and I stayed focused until I was able to finish my law school, and I was still building, you know. So I have been a contractor all my life, engaged in all kinds of construction until I became a lawyer. And then after my pupillage, I also opened my own chambers at Dabraka Duaproche Chambers, where I became a managing partner. So I see myself as an entrepreneur, somebody who is able to create his own ideas and businesses. And so when I saw the Youth Enterprise Support when we came to government, even though I was a lawyer, I thought I could make a lot of impact encouraging young people to start their businesses whilst even they are in school. Or even if you're out of school, you just have to start something and make it grow over time. And I thought it was the best opportunity I got. And I'm happy that I delivered good results to government.
If somebody described you as an opportunist, how would you feel?
Well, opportunist is not a bad term if it impacts positively on others. So opportunist is all about taking advantage of an opportunity. But it should not be to your selfish end, but to impact on your community and others. And if it is in that sense, then I'm happy.
You're happy to be called an opportunist?
Yes. As long as it impacts positively on others. Because that's my strength, and I think I have done it better for the country.
How does it work? Assuming that you win the election and your party wins in December, do you still get to be CEO of NEIP?
No. As the member of parliament, you can't serve as a CEO, but you can be a board chairman, a minister or deputy minister. So there are other higher roles that you can serve even in parliament, you could be on a committee responsible for entrepreneurship or trade or industry or anything. Your skill will always be needed.
So this is almost like a stepping stone. You've planned all this.
Yes. It's part of a bigger plan to contribute to our national.
What is the highest? What is the apex of this plan?
Well,
because you started at a particular level. What is the highest point of this plan? Because,
there's no highest point yet.
No, but you said it's a plan.
Yes, but a plan to serve. Service not only as CEO. I mean, it's good to have opportunity to serve.
Because I'm looking at the trajectory.
Yes.
Construction company, lawyer. You tried for the MP thing. It didn't happen. Became a CEO of NEIP.
Yes.
And now you're going for MP. Yes. You are likely to win.
Yes.
Looking at the figures from Ejisu.
We are targeting 90% of the votes.
90%, almost like a North Korea kind of,
yes.
of vote. And then probably a minister if your party wins.
Yes, of course.
John Kuma for president in 2028?
Well, we are not there yet, so...
I know we are not there, we are in 2020.
Oh. But you see, one good thing about American politicians, that's what we all look up to. They tell every American politician that your highest level is presidency. So even if you are a young politician, your highest ambition in America is to become the president. In Ghana, because of the instability in our political system, you shouldn't be that ambitious. Just whatever role you are given, just play it and pray that the system stays continuous so that you can. President Kafui wanted to be president when he was 28. So you don't want
You're relatively young. You can wait for another 20 years if you want to be president.
But those things are decided by God anyway. But if you're a politician, deliver on your mandate that is given to you. At the moment, I have opportunity to become a member of parliament. I hope to serve my people and community well. And if I do well, and it's an opportunity to serve further, I will. If that's where God wants me to end it, it will be, but one step at a time.
We'll get to wrap up on issues related to your campaign and what you want to do in Parliament and everything, but let's just briefly wrap up with the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. What's been the greatest challenge for you in this particular job, heading up this office?
The greatest challenge has been trying to shape people's mind to understand that starting business is not about money, but ideas. More people tend to think they need money before they start. But in most cases, when you engage them and you tell them, okay, there's 100 million on your table, what do you do now? Then they are confused. So trying to change people's mindset from money consciousness to ideas consciousness and telling them to believe that they can start from nothing and grow it to be a big thing.
But that's hard, because the system in Ghana is so money conscious and people are always expecting to be paid for whatever work they do and they don't believe in these ideas and sweat and take your time. So how do you deal with that culture?
Yes, that is where my difficult challenge is. And I think over time, gradually, as we engage more people to believe in the ideas they have and to focus much more on the ideas. I tell people that if you do your business plan and the business plan is not able to fund the business, you are not able to create money out of your business plan to fund it from 0 to 100, then you haven't done a business plan. So if your business plan asks you to start with 100 million and you don't have 100 million, you don't have a business plan. You should have a business plan that says that you grow to 100 million, but you have 0. So where do you start with 0 and get to 100? You get it. So changing people's mind to believing that the ideas work better than money, and if with better ideas you get the money, is where always people want to rush on the money more than the ideas and, building their capacity to believe that they can grow with nothing and get to the top. Okay. And I think that is where change the challenges.
I know you will do monitoring and evaluation of all these projects. You track the money that has been given to all these people. You get reports about what has been achieved. What are some of the real highlights? Which stories stand out for you? I mean,
the best stories is when we hear that, after the training and after the funding, I've increased my capacity from 9 workers to 50 workers. There's this young lady who is into coffee processing. She used to have 9 workers. Now she says she has 56 workers.
Have you checked? Have you checked?
Yes, we've checked.
They can't be throwing figures at you like that.
No, they come with pictures to show you and even video documentaries of what they have done. Yes, of human beings that they've employed.
Yeah, because if you go to Green Book issues, then no. You guys don't believe what's it's in the Green Book, so well, don't believe.
The book, if it's green, we will not believe, but maybe if it's blue, we may believe.
Blue book.
So there's this young man we gave 10,000 cedis. He's into industrial cleaning.
Okay.
And he has employed 15 workers because he's able to now, acquire more materials to engage more people. We have so many people.
So it's great stories.
It's great stories. Those who are into shoemaking and now they are reaching bigger markets. Those who are into clothing and fashion, and liquors and food and beverages. All kinds of fantastic stories about how the NEIP program has impacted on them. But we focus a lot on the training and the capacity building.
It's really important.
More than the money.
Okay.
For me, I stress less on the money, and that's the challenge I always have with people.
Yeah.
They think they must come and pick their money.
No,
but
get the training first.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
And
so
I think we are making the impact.
Well done.
Thank you.
So you're watching the next MP. My guest is MPP's parliamentary candidate for the good people of Ejisu in the Ashanti region. My name is Kafui Dey. When we return, I'm going to throw a series of rapid-fire questions to my guest. Don't miss it.
Hello, my name is Jermaine Nkrumah. For decades, leaders in Ghana have been complaining about brain drain, referring to the mass exodus of Ghanaians into foreign lands. The good news is lately, that brain drain has actually evolved into what many refer to as brain gain. In other words, Ghanaians left and have acquired new skills, and they are now available to come home to help with national development. In fact, here at DNT, we insist that there is nothing that Ghana needs done towards her development that she cannot find a Ghanaian to do, be they at home or from somewhere in the world. The question is there a role for Ghanaians abroad to play in Ghana's development? If the answer is yes, then we have to ask ourselves, what are the measures that have been put in place to facilitate their return home to help with nation building? Join me on Diaspora Weekly every Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning as I engage Ghanaians, be they at home or abroad, as we analyze the topical issues and relevant issues pertaining to how diasporans abroad can come home and help with nation building. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and this is Diaspora Weekly.
Welcome back to the next MP. My name is Kafui Dey. My guest is the parliamentary candidate representing the NPP for Ejisu constituency in the Ashanti region, also the chief executive of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, John Kuma. A couple of weeks back, I spoke to the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Medina, lawyer Xavier, Francis Xavier Susu.
My friend.
Yes, and he said over a period of 1 year, he spent 200,000 cedis on his campaign. How much did you spend on your campaign?
Well, I don't have the final figures
You
yet.
are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You have an MBA.
I know, in finance.
And you are a lawyer as well, and you
I
are a
know.
very ambitious parliamentary candidate. You cannot tell us how much you spent?
Not now, because
Then when?
resources come in different forms. Some people donate t-shirts to you. You have to quantify it and add it to your costing.
Let's stick
Otherwise,
to the cash. How much cash came?
Oh.
How much cash was involved? Forget about t-shirts.
well, the cash and t-shirts, if you have the cash, you go and buy t-shirts.
Yes, so
and
how
give to
much
the
cash
people.
came to you?
Well, I don't have the final figures. On
More than
cash
200,000 cedis?
yet. I don't know yet. I don't want to begin to throw out figures that will turn out to either be low or high. But I think at the right time, I'll get to know and maybe put it out.
Okay, there was a general impression in the media and general public that the MPP primaries were a display of serious money. So there's a GNA report, May 29th, where a couple of people were spoken to. Kwame Boama, a businessman at Kwamu, is that in your constituency?
Yeah, in my
He says,
constituency.
this is unheard of. It's nauseating and an unimaginable wasteful spending. Nakwesi, a free, also a student, says, we are curious to know the funding sources. The people want to know, where are these parliamentary candidates who tell us that ideas are worth more than money? Where are they getting their money from?
This GNA report was on a song that Nicolas Omane Echampong and
Kojo
Ampong did for me.
Yes, they did a jingle for you.
A jingle for, it's a song, not a jingle, it's a full song.
Sing a bit, sing the chorus for me. It's your song.
Lawyer John Kuma na yepe, onwa na yepe, onwa neko. Just a song to support my campaign.
Something that the president would like for his campaign.
Exactly.
Why are you doing this for a parliamentary candidate?
Exactly.
Primary?
That was their concern. And I am friends with Nicolas Omane Champon and
Ampong.
Amorfire.
Yes.
Because, my wife is a pastor. She's a Disciples of Christ founder
Apostle.
and apostle.
Yes.
So I relate a lot with a lot of these musicians. They even surprised me with it. When people come to support you with the music, how do you quantify that into your...
Well, how much was the thank you for Ampong and how much did you
Well,
give them?
they would rather come in, they rather came with a song to contribute.
And
Thank
you give them
Yesterday
something.
we were in
You
church
give
with
them
them.
something.
No, you don't have to give them anything.
But did
They are
you?
support. No, you don't
did
have
it,
to.
They did it for free?
They did it for free to
What did
support my
What did they
campaign.
get?
Relationship, I told you. It depends on how you and them relate.
Or special assistant to the MP when you win your election?
Well, that wouldn't be bad. But you see, people, of course, don't do things for free. Maybe they see you as a potential that in future, if they are also in need of something, you can intervene on their behalf. You get it?
Why don't we declare sources of funding in Ghana?
Well,
as is done in the democracies that we look up to.
We do. It is required by law for you to declare sources of funding, especially because you are not supposed to take funding from outside foreigners into your campaign.
How about internally? Did you declare your sources of funding for
Yes, you have to declare your source of
Did
funding.
you do yours, though?
But what I'm saying is that I will have to do that properly and submit
Within time.
Within time. But you can't sit on TV and begin to conjecture figures when you know you can be up or down on your figures.
So talking about TV, so Nimoy Thompson on Twitter wants to know your reaction to allegations by one Kevin Taylor that you were channeling money from your program to fake companies and withdrawing that money to finance your campaign. These are very serious allegations that Mr. Taylor made.
Yes.
How do you respond to those allegations?
Well, I've responded to it a long time ago. First of all, it was my opponent's campaign aide, one Anause Bonsu, who created those documents.
Your predecessor, the person who you kicked out.
The one, he's still the MP. So, and I got him arrested. The matter is now at Drabin Circuit Court for the forgery. He created my office letterhead and forged my signature, all to malign me as part of their smear campaign in the elections. And I responded to it. The matter is in court. Kevin Taylor got hold of that same forged documents they created and made all kinds of wild allegations.
What are you going to do to him?
Well, of course, you know,
he's not in the jurisdiction.
He himself, he's a persona non grata in the jurisdiction of our country, so I don't want to waste my time on Kevin Taylor. But the important thing is that those who created those forgery and the wild... Look, every disbursement we have done under the NEIP program is done by the president.
The president himself?
Himself.
Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo.
On Wednesday, we are doing presidential pitch, the third window.
He disburses it?
Yes. It has to be under his scrutiny. That's the point I'm making. So you cannot make the claim that 98% of applicants, the 4,350 we have funded, are from Ejoso. How is that possible? Meanwhile, you do training nationwide. For instance, this year, we are training 100 in Ejoso district, just like we are training in K2 South or North Town or what. It's going to be 100 per district. And so if we select 10 beneficiaries in Ejoso, you are going to select 10 in Ave or in Tumu. So I don't see how anybody in his right sense will think that John Kuman has to create a non-existent company to go and, source funds
to fund your campaign.
To fund my campaign. It doesn't make sense to me in the first place. But these were forged documents, and the matter is in court as we speak.
All right.
The person is standing trial.
But don't you agree that if parliamentary candidates and government officials, or whoever standing for office, were to just declare their sources of funding up front, we wouldn't have all this speculation.
Well,
it will help you.
I don't see why they say we don't declare. We declare, we do open solicitation.
But in your own time.
Yes, but you have to do it within time, so that if you rush to go and make your own mistakes, people will not forgive you.
All right.
If Kafui Dey pushes you to put a figure out, and then you go and put your documents together and you realize that you are not there yet, then you say, but nobody forced you.
Spoken like a lawyer. Barack Hassan says, in the light of all this, what is your relationship with the incumbent MP after taking the seat from him? Will the incumbent support you in your campaign?
Well, I supported him the last time when I didn't win. I went ahead to become an electoral area coordinator and did house-to-house campaign and helped him. When I didn't win, I worked for him, or I worked with him. I expect him one good turn deserve another.
Has he congratulated you?
Not yet.
Ooh.
But he issued a statement on his Facebook wall. But he has not called me. He wasn't even present at the time we were doing the declaration. He didn't come.
Why do you think that's so?
Well, everybody has their own style of taking defeat. It's not easy. But of course, he issued a statement on his Facebook page to congratulate me.
Do you think he's peeved?
He shouldn't be peeved. I mean, he also took away somebody who had done 3 terms, and I'll be taken away someday. So what's the problem?
I spoke with the Member of Parliament for Bosontri, Dr. Yao Educhu.
Okay.
And he said, listen, it's not about, yes, fear delegates, but it's more effective if you work through the chiefs, work with the chiefs, so that if they acclaim you, they support you, it's easier for the people to lend you their support. Now, the paramount chief, the Jusum Manhini, was on record. He recently apologized profusely. I read the entire apology to the incumbent for calling him very unprintable words, you know. Ogwekru Afrani Okesi IV. He's apologized. Was he supporting you underground to become the MP? Because he just did not like the incumbent.
Well, from the one
he said it very plainly.
Yeah, from the one that I conceived the idea of wanting to be an MP in Nigeria, so I've always gone to him for his blessings. So I'll say yes, he supported me in terms of praying for me or wishing me well in the elections, but that was it.
And possibly telling Jusuman that, my friend,
I'm sure if he has opportunity to talk to a delegate between me and the MP, he was always going to ask them to vote for me because of maybe the relationship between them as compared to between me and him. To be fair,
that was a powerful endorsement.
Yes, you need the endorsement of the chiefs. If you have followed Ghana political history, you know that our chiefs have played pivotal roles in our politics. So,
but the margin wasn't that. You had 397, he had 305. A lot of people expressed their support for the current MP.
Yes, he's done well.
Were you worried? I mean, 56.1%.
The last time he beat me, beat me with 53 votes. So for me to beat him with 90 plus votes should tell you that it was not an easy task. And the dynamics of Joso politics is such that if you have an incumbent member who is also deputy minister for roads, he's very well resourced. And he, like you read about so many things
roads on
he was doing at the same time.
Asphalt level, bitumen level.
Exactly. And so obviously he was contributing his quota, and he needed to make a case why they should overlook that and listen to your program, which for me, I succeeded in showing them that I would do better than what he was doing. Okay.
The final question, this is from Joe Jackson on Twitter. He says, what's your reaction to the army policing our borders at Ketu South? Would you condemn the statement from the Honorable Ketu Hammond on the issue?
First of all, the Ketu South border issue, for me, clearly, is being a matter of political machinations and propaganda by the NDC. I listened to the Interior Minister. He said they have identified 250 potential entry points across the borders of Ghana.
Not just the eastern border.
No,
North,
not just the eastern
east,
border.
and west.
Yes. And according to the Interior Minister, all those potential spots have been beefed up with military presence. And not only the military, I think immigration and custom officers, among other things. But strangely, it appears it's only the Eastern Corridor where we are having a lot of agitation coming from the NDC. And when the NDC is complaining, they are not complaining on the generality of the presence of military on our borders. They are only specific about Ketu South and a particular border being checked. For me, that's where I totally disagree with them. I think that it's being politically motivated.
But do you condemn Honorable Katie Hammond?
I listened to Honorable Katie Hammond's video.
We all did.
In fact, but for politics, he didn't say anything strange. He said that those who are from Togo have relation with some Ghanaians, but with the presence of the border, even though you can be my uncle living on the Togolese side, you're a Togolese, and the other, and I'm in Ghana side, so I'm a Ghanaian.
But I fact-checked, and he got his numbers wrong, because he said the NPP was in the lead in 2008, and then all of a sudden 100,000 votes came, and then they lost that lead. I checked the voting numbers. The voter population is less than 60,000. So how can 100,000 people come? And so those figures are coming from the Electoral Commission.
Yeah,
that's a deviance of 40,000.
Yes, that one I also don't agree with him. But for people to twist this to say that he said all Votarians are not Ghanaians and they are Togolese, I mean, clearly he didn't say that. And let's be fair to our conscience and to ourselves as a people. When somebody says that you can't come from Togo and register in Ghana, you are a Togolese, it does not by any stretch of imagination mean that Votarians are Togolese. He never said that.
But don't you agree, though, that the army cannot be the arbiters of who is a Ghanaian or not?
But who has said that's the role of the army? It is the EC who is going to register, and per the CI 126, what you require to register as a Ghanaian is clearly defined and endorsed by the Supreme Court. It's got nothing to do with the army.
Granted, but there are also arguments that all these machinations are employed to suppress votes. So people get scared, they don't come out to register.
No.
And then by an indirect way, you get fewer people coming to vote.
But you see, sometimes we allow politics to divide us too much. I have already stated that the Interior Ministry has announced 250 potential entry points into
all
Ghana.
around the country.
All around the country. That is being policed and beefed up with soldiers. Why is it that only the Eastern Corridor, we are hearing all this kind of noise? Why? Are they the only border that is being patrolled now?
It's a major border.
Why?
After Tema and Takrady
is the third largest. Assuming is the major. Yes, granted. What is strange if we police it and ensure that foreigners don't infiltrate?
So you are happy with the army doing their business?
We should be happy with it. We should allow the military.
You, not we.
Well, it's a country decision, and
yes,
I should be
but
part
are you
of
happy?
it. I don't see. I don't have a difficulty with the army doing their
negative
work.
response. Are you happy?
I'm saying that I don't have a difficulty.
Are you happy?
It's not about being happy. It's about making sure that as a country we respect and check our borders.
Okay.
And we should not do politics with our own sovereignty and our own borders.
I cannot cross the borders of time on this show. So before I wrap it up, I'm just wondering, you know, the wife of a pastor is a sophomami.
Yes.
What is the husband of a pastor referred to?
Because
your wife is Apostle Lillian Kuma.
Yes, I am Asafo Papa for Disciples of Christ Ministry.
Is that what people call you?
Yes, I'm the Asafo Papa. It's one of my favorite names.
Asafo Papa. Was she an apostle before you married her?
No.
She wasn't?
She wasn't.
What did she think of your work as a politician?
She's fully supportive.
How did she support you?
She supports me in prayers. She supports me with advice. She supports me in everything, in every way possible.
As a good wife should.
Yes, very supportive.
Before we wrap up, what's your message to the people of Ejisu constituency as in your bid to become the next MP of that constituency?
First of all, I want to thank the Ejisu NPP, especially the delegates, for doing me the honors of giving me the mandate to become the next MP for Ejisu. I believe with this endorsement, I'm going to be the next MP. But there's a huge task ahead of us. We need to go through the registration processes. The elections are over. There is no more John Kuma camp or Edume camp. It's now one MPP. We need to come together to ensure that we do a lot of, we are able to register people in their numbers. And then also we should be able to campaign well so that in December we'll be able to hit the 90% target that we want in a Ejisu constituency. So I encourage everybody to come on board in this campaign. Let's work together to give 4 more to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
His slogan was Ejisu Dachi.
Emre.
That's the slogan of Mr. John Kuma, the parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party and for Ejisu constituency, and the CEO of the NEIP, the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. That's our show. My name is Kafui Dey, and thank you for watching The Next MP.